And we are live. You still have 5 minutes, so we will wait. We shall start exactly at 8.
Great. So this is the time we stare at each other, right?
Yeah, we just stare at each other. Okay, we have no viewers yet.
Yeah, okay. Most likely they'll come in like a few minutes, like 2, 3 minutes later.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Friday night anyway.
Yeah, it's Friday night.
What do you normally do?
What do I do usually Friday night? Either I read my books or binge watch a show on Netflix.
Binge watch.
Okay, we have 3 viewers.
Oh,
Okay,
really? Hello,
we
viewers.
will start at 8.
Okay.
So don't mind us just chatting.
Yeah, we're gonna talk rubbish about Friday nights and yeehaw. Ooh.
Hi, Jane. Jane is saying hi to Tammy and Hanim.
Hi, Jane. How are you, Jane? It's good. It's good of her to be with us on Friday night.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I
But you
think
got
Jane is currently baking her brownies while watching us.
thank you, the CMCO. It forced you to be at home and watch us, you know. on
Correct.
Friday
Yeah,
night.
that's a good thing.
Yeah. But
Hi,
I love to watch movies also, Korean series and
Mhm, mhm. Jane. Hanim, can you see Jane's comment?
yeah, I'm good. So excited to learn from you both. Thank you. I'm looking forward to communicate with you guys as well. That's nice to have brownie. I forgot my coffee. It's okay.
Hello, Devastri.
Hello, Devistri. These are familiar names to you. They've been following you
Yes,
as well. Oh, okay,
yes,
great,
correct.
great,
They're all very close friends of mine here to
great.
support.
Yay! Ladies, please feel free to give your comments and not think too much about it.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be a very laid back
Yeah,
discussion.
yeah. Like I told you, I almost wear my, you know, bathrobe and head
Really?
towel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. So what time do you usually like go back from work? Do you stay back at work often?
I usually go back quite late.
Oh,
Prefer to
okay.
just go and crash.
Yeah. But no students now physically that they're not there, right?
Yeah, they're not here physically.
Excited for this session. Yeah, me too actually. 1 minute more to go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dancing actually, shaking my legs. Woo-hoo.
Whatever that loosen you up.
Yeah, it's a Friday night. Woo-hoo. Your BK is not around, is it?
Hmm. I don't think so.
Yeah, maybe.
She's probably watching, but I can't see.
Okay.
Okay, it's 8 o'clock. I think we'll start.
Yes, please.
All right. Okay, so good evening, everyone, to those of you who are watching, and welcome to the very first episode of Let's Talk with Tammy. So, today we're going to talk about leadership, as you have seen on the posters that I've been sharing for the past week. And much has been said about leadership. You might have read about it online. You might have gone through trainings at work on leadership skills. But how many of us are actually putting these skills into use? And how do we do this actively in our daily life? And not just on the work front, but in every aspect of our life, right? And most importantly, how do we cultivate the leader's mindset? So today with me, we have Miss Hanim Abdul Rahman, a certified trainer who has experience in facilitating leadership programs since 1995. Just for the record, it's not 15 years ago, yeah? Most of the time we tend to make that mistake. And apart from that, her true passion is in learning, sharing her knowledge and experiences with participants to help mentor and transform them into leaders in business and the community. Before we proceed further, I just want to let our viewers know that we are currently streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. So please keep the comments coming. It doesn't have to be a question. You can also comment on the topic that we're discussing tonight. And later on, we will have a short Q&A session, questions picked from the comments that you have been giving. Okay, so Hani, my
Yes.
first question to you. First of all, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me here. Before I forget, congratulations. You're streaming live, first one. Wow.
Thank you. Thank you. First episode. Yeah. So my first question to you would be, how would you define an outstanding leader?
Okay. It's great that you asked that question to begin with because I find a lot of people confuse between the word leader and being a
Mm-hmm.
boss. A lot of
Yeah.
people assume that you're a boss, so you're a leader.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of things. Being a leader is a lot of things. It's not just one definition in one paragraph or something like that.
Correct.
Because to be being a boss is like most people do this anyway. Being a boss is like you get a task, you complete the project, whatever it is. It's more like it's for your upper management. So you
Mm-hmm.
get the report and you get rewards and you take all the credits. Most of the time you take the credits and then
Mm-hmm.
you delegate all the responsibilities to your team to do the work, and that's it. Next project, right?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Whereas I think being a leader is more than that. I think it's a willingness, it's your spirit of wanting to serve others, wanting to serve and protect. In a way, you're protecting whoever is under your care. So it's not
Mm-hmm.
just completing a project, I got paid for this, that's what I did, and let's move on. I think it's more of a parenting role because if you look at parents, you educate your child, you protect your child, you encourage them to do things, you set discipline, you set boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
right? You are there when they fall, you encourage them to get up again. I think leadership role is very similar to being a parent. So it's a
Mm.
lot of things in there. So I would say that defining it would be like serving others, your mentality of serving others. It's not about you anymore, it's about people around you.
Mm-hmm. It's
Yeah.
basically to grow and bring everyone else to grow with you at the same time, right?
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. Now you find that people are serving the bosses.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
You know, you can be a CEO, you can be a manager, and you find that people are actually serving them instead of them serving the group. I mean, paying salary is not serving you. I mean, you know, that's a given. You pay salary and you get it to do certain jobs. But
Yeah.
most bosses thinks it's like being a leader is like whipping your team to work harder to
Yes. Correct.
produce. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's not at all about that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's more of a managerial role, right? But a manager should
Exactly.
also be a good leader for them
Exactly.
to be. So basically, you're saying the reason why you're comparing leaders with parents is because, they also have extra responsibilities of being able to inspire and also mentor the subordinates,
Exactly. It's also
right?
making your teammates
Mm,
feel safe to perform, right? It's not like you do one mistake, out you go. You
correct.
like you said. It's interesting that you say we go for all these seminars and courses. I mean, I have a lot of HR saying that they come
Mm,
from this leadership program again and again, and nothing happens
correct. Correct.
because
Yeah.
you're nothing happens because you're not being given a tool or you're not being guided of how to be a leader.
Yeah.
You just get promoted because of your experience, how many years you may know how to do the job, but you
Mm-hmm.
may not know how to guide your people how to do it.
Correct.
I mean, like mentally, physically, emotionally, there's like safety in all this. It's not just A, B, C, D, E, F based on your job responsibilities. Leadership it goes beyond that actually.
Yeah, that's true. So, based on these characteristics of an outstanding leader, right, to be able to mentor, to inspire, so do you think some of them are actually natural born leaders?
I used to think that, but I don't think so. I think it's a lot of things that come into there before you become a strong or outstanding leader. I think your
Mm-hmm.
values, your
Mm-hmm.
belief, your goals, your boundaries also comes into it. For example, like some people just can't stand seeing people get bullied
Mm. Okay.
or get abused. So
Mm-hmm.
because of that circumstance, it force you to be a leader, to speak out, to take actions.
Yep, correct.
It's also your upbringing.
Mm.
They seems natural because they are used to voicing out they are used to voicing out their opinion, because maybe they grew up in a family where encourage them to voice out their opinion. It's okay to say something if you don't like something, it's also their
Mm-hmm.
upbringing. It's also environment,
Mm.
exposure,
Mm-hmm.
self value. i
Okay.
think
So,
yeah i think that
so the when you say natural born leader, so you don't agree with that statement, right?
Not necessarily. It seems natural, but a lot of things along the way comes into making
Yeah,
you
I
that
think you
person.
call them natural because you see them at a specific point of life. You don't see them
Exactly.
from a very young age. So you think it's natural, but it's actually all the social conditioning, family upbringing, the values that you've been
Exactly.
taught since you were young. Yeah.
It could also be the mistakes that they've done, the failures that they've gone through before, but you don't
True.
see that. So yeah, when you
Correct.
see, you go like, wow, this one
Oh, it's a natural leader.
is
Yeah.
natural. He or she is so lucky she can speak well.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't
It's
know the
actually a
failures.
culmination, right, of all your life
Exactly.
experiences.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hmm. But do you think, okay, so it's not a natural born leader, but would you then define that leadership is a state of mind?
It is. It is.
Okay.
Of course, you don't get up one morning and say, you know what, I feel like a leader today. I'm going to
Yeah.
lead these people, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
it's a habit over time. It's a habit.
Right.
You also need to build self confidence for
Mm-hmm.
you to take action and to voice your opinion. It takes
Mm-hmm.
time for all this. It's not like one day you get up and you have the superpowers to lead teams and all that. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have confidence in your own self, you don't trust your decision making, it's a bit hard to lead anyone if you can't even lead yourself,
Right, right. That's true. Okay, so basically, it is cultivated. Leadership skill, leadership mindset is cultivated from young. Uh, but like you said earlier, leadership can be apparent, so it doesn't have to be something on the work front.
Exactly.
You can be a leader everywhere. So, in terms of gender, do you think there are specific, how some people would say, oh, males would be better suited to be leaders? Do you think, do you agree with that statement?
Leaders can be anyone. It can be a male, a female, because I believe we have our own strength,
Mm,
build up strength. The way we think, mentally, emotionally, physically, we are built up differently. So I
right.
don't believe in this competing
Mm-hmm.
to get the role, because I believe like male and female gender are made to complement each other. It's not to compete. We can tap into our own strength to be a
Right.
leader. We don't
Right.
have to be big size and have a loud voice and to be a leader. I mean, if you have this nature of taking care of the person left and right to you, or you're taking care of your neighbors, taking care of your siblings, you're doing leadership role, but you just don't have that label
Mm-hmm.
or stigma. Like, I'm a leader, I'm doing leadership role, or
Mm-hmm.
even you're helping stray cats, stray dogs, you're taking initiative, you're taking action. You are being a leader, even if people don't recognize,
Yeah, that's true. That's
people
true.
don't notice. Yeah,
But I would say, like, personally, if you were to say this like 10 years ago, I would have been so triggered. I'd be like, how dare you say that male and female, are equal? But I think it is a truth that we have to accept that we are different. We are
yeah.
psychologically wired differently. But I think they are not tapping into the differences.
Yeah.
right? Which is why we feel like why, okay, on the work front at least, you see that there are many male leaders, but there are not many female leaders. So why do you think that's the case? If you think everyone, if they were to be brought up the same way, they could all possess and show these leadership skills. So why do you think there's lesser female leaders in the on the work front?
Okay, I would firstly, I don't agree with this filling quota thing. You just
Mm,
feel you take female certain numbers, you take male certain number just to fill in the quota. I
mm-hmm,
believe in equality in the sense that if you can perform, you get the
mm-hmm,
same benefit. If you can perform, whichever way
mm,
you perform, if you can
mm-hmm,
perform, you should be getting the same benefits and rewards.
mm-hmm.
But not everybody are willing to be a leader like with a label,
Right,
because sometimes taking action, a leadership role is being seen as a masculine energy.
right.
So not everybody wants to do it. But
Mm-hmm,
let's say you want to be a leader, you feel that you deserve to be a leader at your workplace. I would say that I would suggest, I'm not advising, I would suggest that you be more visible.
mm,
Be more visible, contribute more, contribute, have a say. Let's say if you're in a meeting, don't go hiding and sit at the back where the toilet is, where the door is, and when the
mm-hmm.
meeting is over, you're the first one out. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah,
Be
yeah.
visible. I'm not talking about bodek the boss here, not sucking up to the boss here. I'm not talking
Right.
about that. I'm talking about, let's say you're in a meeting, instead of sitting at the back, sit in the middle or sit in front,
Mm,
right? If you don't have anything brilliant to say, let's say you're totally blur, or then you really have nothing to say in the meeting. If
mm-hmm,
somebody says something great and you don't like that person personally, I mean, we are human, right? If you don't like that person, even though you don't like that person, put up your hand and say, you know what, Mr. or Miss So and so, I totally agree with your opinion. I think that's amazing.
mm,
That's an amazing idea, and you can top up on it.
mm,
You can tell why you agree with it or why you don't agree with it. That's
mm,
a part of being visible, because others will look at you and say, oh, we know that she doesn't fancy that fella, but she's being fair. That is one of
mm.
leadership qualities.
Yeah.
If you can't
Being
even
unbiased.
being unbiased, if you don't even have the confidence to put up your hand and speak out, how are you going to be
Yeah,
a leader? Yeah, how
that's
are you
true.
going to be? Yeah.
That's true.
So I would
Reminds
say
sorry, yeah, please continue.
participate more, contribute more.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
If you find that after doing all this and it still doesn't work, you're not being recognized,
mm-hmm.
I would say that that's not a place for you.
Right. That's
Yeah,
true. That's true.
yeah, that's not a place for you. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
to grow. Yeah, it's not the right place for you to grow. Yeah.
Mm. It reminds me of, I mean, your scenario, that example that you gave me, right? It kind of reminded me of the time I was at the pageant last year. And during one of those workshops, one of the trainer actually told me that your main aim here is to be memorable,
Okay.
because you are surrounded by so many other equally beautiful, equally talented girls. So how are you going to
Mhm.
stand out? Be memorable. So I think that the one way that you suggested, you don't have to come up with a brilliant, out of the brilliant idea or something that is out of the box, but just to be seen or to be heard, that simple gesture of saying I agree actually could go a long way in the long run.
Also, you have to be sincere and honest about it. When you say, people could tell whether it's you or you're just put up, because the energy is different.
Yep,
People
yep,
can
correct.
tell. Yeah, if it's not sincere, if it's not the real you, you cannot keep it up for long. People will
That's
find
true.
out. Yeah, yeah, people will
Yeah,
find out sooner or later. Yeah.
yeah, that's true. That's true. So when it comes to, earlier we discussed about what does it mean to being a good or an outstanding leader, but what do you think a person with a leadership mindset, what kind of traits do you think they would have?
I would say I'm lucky, because when I first started out in '95, I
Mhm.
had a very good leader who's also happened to be my mentor.
Right.
So he taught me how to do trainings and all that. He wasn't telling. He teach me by not just telling, but I watch his action,
Mm-hmm.
how he groom others, how when he give knowledge, it's not about him. He give everything. It's not that you pay this much, you get this amount of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like when you are guiding your team and all that, it's not that I paid this much, so I give you this much. It's like, whatever you need, the support, the extra time, the energy, instead of just emailing, hey, what's going on, what's the problem,
Mm-hmm.
spend time and effort, like face to face. Are you having any problems? A lot
Mm,
of people say come to work and leave your problems at the door. We are
mm-hmm.
human. It's easier said than
Yeah.
done. I would
Mm-hmm.
say a leader would find out about the values of people around them, the values, what take them, what motivates them. Money is not always the answer, actually.
Mm, mm-hmm.
Money is
Mm-hmm.
not always the answer. Sometimes you get paid a lot, but people start leaving the workplace. There
Mm-hmm.
must be something wrong somewhere. Usually, it's not the workload.
Right.
It's
Right.
not the. It's the leaders. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I just want to go back to that question earlier about why do you think that we have a very few female leaders? Yes, some of them probably would choose not to be out there. They prefer to be behind the scene, behind the screen.
Mm.
But for those who wants to be better, for those who wants to become good future leaders, what kind of advice would you want to give to them?
I would say that if you're already performing, you're already contributing, voice it out to the management. Have the
Right.
courage to voice it out to them. Sometimes we don't see things about us. Sometimes management sees certain things in us. Maybe they feel that you need to do certain things. So the best is communication. Voice it out. If I
Mm,
were to what does it take for me to get this position? Because I believe I can do this. Of course,
right.
have supports and all that what you've been doing. Sometimes
Mm,
voice it out and get a feedback.
mm,
But
okay.
you have to be honest with yourself whether you're really ready to take on the responsibilities, or
Right.
what is it that you're going for. Yeah.
Mm. So that one, that part there where you would have to go and talk to your boss and offer yourself to be handling a bigger position needs two
Yes.
things. One is courage. Another would be conviction that you're good for the role,
Yes. You
right?
can't be worrying like what will he think about me? My colleagues
Yeah.
will think like I'm so like greedy for you. You can't.
Yes, correct. And that requires a lot of confidence,
Yes.
which I think it is important for a leader as well because that confidence attracts people.
True. True.
So I mean, I wouldn't want to say this, but I would think that millennials maybe okay. I'm hoping that parents these days are much more unbiased in terms of their children's upbringing. But we can't deny the fact that females are brought up differently from males,
True.
right? They were
True.
brought up to be much more submissive, to be much more obedient, to be more of the follower compared to be a leader. So for them to break out of this mold and to become a better leader, what do you think they should do? How to instill this confidence in them?
I've trained a lot. I've had a lot of students, thousands of students, 18 and 19 years old. I mean, I'm guiding them to get a job. Most of them are not lucky as to have support from family, male or female. A lot of pressure has been putting in performing academically,
Mm,
and they're saying it's good for the kids. I think it's for the parents. I mean, parents have issues; they're human as well. So they're putting all this pressure onto their kids.
right.
So what I usually suggest them to do is build it from scratch. Start from something small. Challenge yourself to do little things that scares you.
Mm,
Sometimes if you have friends who's not supporting you for these kids, I would say change your circle of friends. Get someone who's very supportive. If you still can't do that, find a mentor, maybe
mm,
an uncle or a neighbor or somebody that you can trust and respect to guide you. Or
mm,
now YouTube is free and all that. Get someone who's already doing whatever you want to be. See what
mm,
they see, learn what they learn.
mm,
I have this challenge which I'm going to challenge your audience later on. To what I ask these students to do is, you are so worried about getting validated by all these social media lies, being cool, being perfect, and all that.
mm-hmm,
Try to avoid all that by making a fool of yourself. And
mm,
it's okay to get, for example, I ask them to do something silly. Let's say you go to 7-Eleven.
right.
You know what 7-Eleven have in 7-Eleven, right? You go to 7-Eleven and ask, where can I get a wedding dress? Where's the department for wedding dress? And
Mm,
some will just look at you like, are you crazy? are you stupid or something? It's not about insulting or making fun of the other party. It's not. It's
Right,
just
right,
like going through that feeling that it's okay to look like a fool or sound like a fool. Just
right.
go through that motion. Sometimes it becomes hilarious, and what it does is that when they come back with a lot of story, I leave it open to them to do whatever it is, as long as
Mm-hmm.
you're being respectful. So when they
Mm,
come back, they say that they have this boost of like self confidence, like
right.
I don't need validation from anybody. I mean, the guy look at me weird, but hey, I live, I'm still alive. So what's the big
Yeah,
deal?
right. Mm,
So escape from this concept of having to be perfect to be
mm,
accepted. I mean, we can't be perfect in every way. It's ridiculous.
mm. Correct. I can relate to that giddy feeling that you will get once you are done with that exercise that you gave. Yeah, but
Yeah,
the thing is, I think it's great to start small like that and then to learn to recognize the emotions or feelings that you're going through the whole time.
exactly.
The
Yes,
nervousness before going in and then, finally blurting out the question and then finally coming out laughing. And I think
yes,
learning to recognize those feelings and and then recognize the feelings again when you're doing something much more serious. And then
exactly.
yeah. Mm.
And then when you share this and you get a few friends, the thing is you cannot go in a group. You have to do it alone.
Yes, of course.
But when you do it with other friends as well, they make a fool of themselves as well, and they share the stories, and it's like, oh, it's a cool thing. I'm not the only one who's doing crazy and then sound and look like a fool here.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
challenge yourself. Yeah.
That's a very interesting way to start. Yeah. Oh, we actually have a couple of questions already. Maybe we
Oh,
can look
great.
at the questions and then we can maybe build on more from there.
Sure, sure.
So Jane has a question. In a world where formal leadership titles are valued more than soft leadership, via encouragement, empathy, etc., how can we balance between the both? Considering informal leaders are generally not recognized. I think it's a good question because as human, as much as we don't want to depend on validation too much, but a pat on the back is sometimes nice. So how do
Because
we?
I totally agree with Jane, because it's easier to set rules and all that when you have a title. People will
Mm,
be more inclined to follow it. But you can balance it out. Being a good leader doesn't mean that people like you and love you, but you don't have boundaries. You need to
mm,
set boundaries.
mm,
These are the yes that you can do. These are a definite no-no, like
mm,
being late for work, cheating or stealing ideas. So it's a no-no. You need to have a set of boundaries to balance it out between the two. So let's say if you're not in the leader role and you feel that there's something going on, voice it out to the management. Have it written to say that
mm,
I think these things are going on. I don't feel that it's right, and put why do you feel that way. If you don't have that title or role and saying something is going on, because I
mm,
have this person by the name of Blessing. He's an international speaker. He has this code of honor for every team. Code of honor is every team is not just the leader. Every team agreed not to do certain things. Like you never abandon a teammate in need, which I think
mm,
is very strong and
mm,
powerful thing. And everybody
yeah,
have to agree and be committed to that.
mm,
So you have certain boundaries. It's not being nice and being accepted by everybody, but not having boundaries. Again, going like parental role. You love
yeah.
your child, yes, but you don't say you can do drugs. You know, I'm
Oh,
not
go
gonna.
have fun. It's your experimental phase.
Exactly, right. You need to have certain
Mm,
guide for this. So I would say like for Jane, like when you take somebody into your group, that's the first step that you set all the boundaries.
mm,
If the other party can't accept it, then that person does not belong in the group. It's better to do it earlier in the stage than later. So this 3 months probation when people come into work, right? I would
mm,
suggest that it's not just for management to check you out whether you're stable or not. That's the time for you to check it out whether you can deal with that kind of leadership and culture as well. If you
mm,
think that you can't, I think it's better that you leave, because long term I think you'll suffer. I
mm.
hope that answers your question, Jane.
Okay. Next would be Devasri's question. I think it's somewhat of the same line. She says that we need more examples of empathetic leaders because a successful leader is often portrayed to be materialistically driven and has a hard personality, rather narcissistic even, and doesn't smile. And this reminds me of an article that I was reading earlier to prepare for this episode, where they said that in terms of male and female leaders, in terms of the effectiveness, there's actually no difference, but
Mm-mm.
there is a huge difference in the leadership style, right? And I would say that there are more empathetic leaders in the fairer gender. But what would you want to say about this?
But that's true because certain things comes. We were brought up like to be more nurturing,
Mm,
right? Most male, I would say, is more head than heart.
mm-hmm,
But I wouldn't say all ladies are necessarily good leaders because I've had before I start my own company, I've had female leaders who are not empathetic at all, who's like
mm,
taking all the credits and giving all the workload. But I would say these are the thing where if you find like not just male leaders, female leaders, these are the type that management needs to give them support on how to give support. I know it
mm,
sounds weird. Management needs to support them giving training, not just numbers, as in profit, not just the head counts, but include the heart counts as well. How do you take care of them wholly, not just to perform and profits and all that. These are
mm,
the trainings they should be going to. How do you influence people emotionally?
mm,
So if you
mm-hmm,
can influence your teammates emotionally, it's not going to happen that you give 2 days trainings and they're going to come back and do magic. It doesn't happen that way.
true.
Management have to give support on how leaders can support their teams. Whether you go for trainings, whether you understand human behaviors, their values, not everybody wants to be appreciated in the same way. Some
Yeah.
appreciate gifts, some appreciate in the form of monetary, some
Mm,
appreciate kind words.
mm,
So I believe that these leaders need to go through all this kind of training on how to give support to the people so that
mm,
you'll be more empathetic. But what do you mean by empathetic? Some people say that, hey, I support, I send training, I give them tools. For them, that's be empathetic. You know what I mean?
mm. Yeah,
So they
correct.
have to go through, yeah, they have to go through all and it takes time. It's not just 2 days training and wow, voila.
And also, I think it starts with oneself, isn't it? I mean, like, they really truly need to believe that they want to be better. If they think
Exactly.
that, you know what, I'm already being a great boss and I think I'm a great leader, I don't need all of this, I don't need to change myself, and then that would be a lost cause then.
I totally agree with you because most companies they'll be like, I send my team, you do the work, and I got nothing to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
And why it doesn't work is because these employees go back and they're going against the wave. They have changed mindset, have changed a bit. I wouldn't say
Correct.
100%. That would be bull crap. I wouldn't say they have changed their mindset and they're going back against the wave. And the boss, the leader, doesn't change.
Mm-hmm.
The boss and the lizard doesn't care. They know when somebody cares or not.
Correct.
So what's the point? I bluntly say, you know what, with HR, if your the set of culture in the management is like this, you're wasting your time doing this training. Please don't do it.
Mm.
Because it starts with the culture from the boss. If the
Yep.
boss said be more caring and all that, and here you are not asking how your teams are doing, do you need help in any other way, how can I help you, then you're talking one thing and you're doing another.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And I think, yeah, I think I have another comment. I think it's more of a comment than a question, which I think I agree. Being a leader is powerful mindset to set a disciplined principle. First, to accept suggestion from your colleagues and then work from it together. I think that is a ego thing there because it's so hard to accept a suggestion from your subordinates sometimes because
Yes.
we tend to forget that we are working in a team, right? As a leader.
Uh, I follow Simon Sinek. I don't know whether you've heard of him. Simon Sinek. He's great. He's a speaker. He specialized on leadership. He
Mhm.
says this. He wrote a book titled "Leaders Eat Last." I think that's so powerful.
Mhm.
Leaders eat last. And he said in a meeting, let all your team members speak first. Let them give whatever ideas, then only you speak. Because when you speak first, it becomes an order. So when your subordinate have a different idea, they feel like maybe I'll get blacklisted for saying out I don't agree and all that.
Yep.
Yeah. So you let all your teammates speak first and you speak last, whether you agree or you don't agree. At least you get the true feelings, what they're feeling, instead of being fearful to voice out opinion. I think that's a great comment. I
Yes,
totally
thank you.
agree. Yeah.
Okay, wow, we have actually passed the 30-minute mark.
Oops. When ladies get together, this what happen.
Yeah. Okay. So I think in terms of comments, that's about it. Let me see if I missed anything. No.
So
Yeah.
I would love to have like, if you ladies don't mind, like a small group of like supporting each other. I know this session is short. Maybe you can share about their own experience in life, how they overcome challenges, what are the thing that scares them that they do it anyway, that build up to
Mhm.
their comment. Maybe they can write on your Facebook page and we
Sure.
can, build on that and comment on that. That would be great.
Yep. There will be a post coming up as a follow up to this episode. I will tag you, Hanim, and then we can probably have a short discussion there where we can share
Great.
our experiences and probably, yeah, like what you said, a support group of sort. Right.
Great.
So basically, we have reached the end of tonight's episode. We are looking at 30 minutes for now, but let's see how it goes, right? But I think 30 minutes is just nice. So I would like to just summarize a little bit of what we have spoken so far for the past 30 minutes.
Sure.
That's quite a long discussion, I would say, but a very fruitful one. Basically, what we want to talk about is how to become good leaders. And sometimes being a good leader does not mean just being a boss or a manager. A good leader should inspire, should mentor, should coach, should take into consideration of their subordinates' feelings and inspire them. And at the same time, we should not also limit leadership in only on the work front. There are many leadership roles out there, sometimes visible, sometimes totally unseen, and there's so many unsung heroes who
Yeah.
don't
So
mind being.
don't put a label to it. Yeah. Don't
Yeah,
limit it to a label. Yeah.
correct, correct. And at the end of the day, when it comes to wanting to become a better leader or a better a leader's mindset, it
Mm.
all starts from you, of you deciding that you want to become better, and of you taking active decisions and steps to build your confidence and slowly gain followers.
Also trusting
Yeah,
yourself that whatever happens from your decision is okay. It doesn't
yeah,
have to be perfect. You'll be okay. You figure something out. Yeah.
yeah, that's true because there's no way we can, I mean, that's the only way we learn. Am I right?
Exactly. Make
Yeah,
mistakes and learn from it. Just do it anyway.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Hanim, for being with us tonight. And once again, thanks so much for being my first ever guest.
Congratulations. Remember to celebrate. Okay, celebrate small wins.
Yes,
Yay, Tammy.
yes, thank you, Hanim. And
Thank
thank
you so
you
much.
all for whoever is watching. I hope it was informative for you as it was for me. And I hope to see you all in 2 weeks. Good night.
Thank you so much. Enjoy your weekends. Bye bye.
Bye bye.